Yep.
Well, sorry about that.
We have audio now. Well, it's a new production night here. If you're just tuning in, we're so terribly sorry that you were listening to the silent film here at the Red Bull. Looks like I think I'm doing some checks here. I think audio's good to go. And we just watched a gigantic crash involving a large portion of the field. And right now we are running under caution here at the Red Bull Ring. We're on board with AJ Brenner in this replay. Norman, what are we looking for here? Or are we still under replay?
We're back live. Well, let me click live. There, we're live. As we have some guys coming down pit road. We got Filippi and Christian coming down pit road. Well, let's say we got lights still on the safety car, so we will not be going. Well, we're coming down front stretch too, so we're definitely not going green this time. But
yeah, so everybody's still going to get lined up. And Norman, a reminder to the fans as well, if one of these drivers takes a tow during one of the races, either the sprint or feature, they are not allowed to get back out on track for that event. Now, for the drivers that have crashed out early here tonight in the sprint, they still can get back out on track for the feature event. And then drivers who face substantial damage in these opening incidents, if they are able to make their way around the course under their own power, come down pit road to get repairs, they do still have a shot. They are allowed back onto the race circuit, and they can continue here.
Yes. It is a rule that's been in place since League Zero since their first season. And it's a rule that I actually like to keep people from trying to drive damaged cars and be a rolling chicane for leaders when they're lapping them.
Yeah, it adds a little bit extra to the series, a little bit of immersions and realism. You know, if your drivers are involved in a hard hit, there's no fast repair, there's no get out of jail free card. You've got to try and either fix the machine or make the call to retire here. So we will be going green this time by. It's going to be AJ Brenner in the top spot. I'm keeping an eye on Doppler, who's showing third here. I am very impressed with the pace that number 81 machine has had so far here this evening. And he does have Brenner and Fitzsimmons. They're going to be starting ahead of him. But Doppler, a relative newcomer here at League Zero, definitely shows he has what it takes to run up here with these top 5 drivers.
Another interesting one is to watch Ray. He is already up to 6th place. He's jumped up 12 spots after taking that penalty for during qualifying.
Aguilar's up 12, sitting in 6th. The other driver with a qualifying ban, Antonio Bianchi, number 17, he's up 11 spots in the 8th place position. And look at that, Jace Myers, number 20, he's up 13 spots tonight. Our hard charger so far of the evening. So a few of these drivers who have been able to keep their nose clean are getting a little bit of a redemption arc here at this one.
Yes. Like we said, that early incident took out a couple of drivers, or didn't take out a couple of drivers, but slowed a couple of drivers up, and just getting through that helped these guys earn massive positions.
Yeah, just got to keep your nose clean, especially in this sprint race. We've seen so many so many drivers being forced into early retirements time and again, but Norman, looks like we're going to go green flag racing once more.
Yeah. As the leaders got away and spread out, we're going to drop back here to Xavier as he's looking to try to battle Nick Peterson for the 5th spot, or the 4th spot.
Yeah, nose to tail they go, and that battle for 4th, it's going to believe Xavier Zanave trying to make a move, and I see here's that Ray Aguilar, making his way up into 5th alongside Zanave, so the flying Frenchman getting bumped back to the 6th place position. Yeah. I think Zanave is going to try and tuck in here behind Aguilar. They've got about a 1.6, 1.7 second advantage over 7th place back. So Zanave still in a good spot here, but definitely doesn't want to lose too much time getting tied up with a battle.
Yeah, this track is extremely hard to pass at because of all the tight turns through the sector. You really have to look through sector 1 down the front stretch and up the hill to try to get your passing done here. Yeah,
a little bit of a game of chess, I think is what's going to be. Now, I see a little bit further back Leo Delmas, he has gained a spot against Brian Dawson, moving that number 21 up into 11th. And keep an eye out. So I kind of predicted this, Norman. Derek Doppler running third, just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 1:14.817. So that third place driver absolutely ripping here. And it looks like the top three a little bit closer than I would have expected as Brenner and Fitzsimmons. I don't know if, yeah, it looks like they might be battling a little bit up there in first, Norman. So I'm wondering, especially with your race experience, does that give Doppler a little bit of hope here as they start battling side by side for the race lead?
Yes, it's going to slow them down. And with them being slowed down, it's going to take it from a 2-car battle to a 3-car battle. But even more scary than that is you have Ray and Xavier back there. If they stay single file, they could also make it a 5-car battle.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see if these guys have enough time in this sprint. We got about 11 laps left to go. The lap time's pretty quick here, right around that 1:14-minute mark. Minute 14, I should better say. Brenner and Fitzsimmons still holding about a comfortable 1-second gap over Derek Doppler. Now, if they work together, they can really extend that gap on third place back. But as we just mentioned, if they start battling side by side, that's going to allow Doppler to close in as they slid on the pace. Now, Doppler showed a 1:13 his last time by, but that was not a clean lap. He had at least one off track, invalidating the lap time. And here we go once more, Norman. The battle for the lead really heating up, and I see that bright yellow number 81 machine really closing the gap behind.
Yeah, and you've got to remember these two teams, these drivers are for first and second, Fitzsimmons and AJ, are battling for a team championship too. So they are not going to back down no matter what. They're not going to be patient. They want to win this race, both for their team.
Exactly, both individual championships and team championships on the line here at League Zero. Very impressed with the side-by-side racecraft we've seen from both Brenner and Fitzsimmons. The Doppler still closing, is about 3/4 of a second off the back. And this is a very short sprint race. We've got less than 10 laps to go. We're making 9 now as we are once again side by side for the race lead. Brenner has a nose into turn 1, but it's going to be Doppler had the fastest lap, but then it was quickly answered. Elliot Cotti running now 8th after the turn 1 lap 1 spin. He is on the throttle and looking to get back up and put himself in a better finishing position, I think, for the start of the feature.
Yes, he's picking them off one by one. You know, not only did Ray tonight have a tough position to come through, but Elliott had an even tougher position after spinning and having let the field go by to work himself back up to 7th place right now.
Yeah, a reminder to the fans, your finishing result for the sprint dictates where you'll be on the starting grid for the feature. So a good, strong finish in the sprint can really set yourself up for maximum points by the time the feature has reached its conclusion. Here's our top 3 all in one tidy shot. It's Brenner, Fitzsimmons, Doppler, separated by less than a second between them. You can see Brenner trying to shake Fitzsimmons out of the draft ever so slightly. Fitzsimmons has a big run, but Brenner's going to hold on to it. And now it's going to be Aguilar in 4th. He sets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, these top 3 have got to watch out for him, because if they start to battle 3 by 3, they are going to let Ray into this race. And then
yeah, Ray.
You have to wonder about team orders, or not team orders, but the team game with Ray and Brenner being on the same team.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Not wanting to put any of your team cars in any sort of vortex of danger, but right now the top 3 looks like it's going to be every man for himself. And yeah, because remind me, I don't think Aguilar, his teammate Jaden Calloway, has been out on track here at all tonight. So Calloway going to leave Aguilar and the defending champ number 1 machine kind of on his lonesome. So Aguilar's not going to get that team support that some of the other drivers are able to have.
Right. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't AJ kind of third wheel for that team?
I believe you're right. I think Brenner and Fitzsimmons. No, excuse me. It's going to be Brenner and Aguilar, I think, that are on satellite teams, I believe. Both owned by the same parent company, not running for the same team championship, Zero Inca Salsa series. But you're right. Those satellite teams might have some broad team orders in play. As it looks to me like Aguilar is getting closer and closer to the top three, and he might be able to drag Nick Peterson with him.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting how this works out here tonight, or today, here in Austria.
And look at that, Elliot Cotti. I just looked at my lap times here. The first driver into the 112, so he's absolutely ripping out on circuit. Now, we've seen, it seems like especially Red Bull Ring has really given drivers problems in the past, especially drivers that are in the lead on the opening lap. It seems to be every week, or every time I should more accurately say, we're out here at Red Bull Ring, it is not uncommon for a leader to absolutely throw it away in either a sprint or a feature. So interesting to see that curse is going to continue for these drivers.
Yeah, it's not a very long run up to T1, and it's not an easy turn to take because you think you can carry a lot more speed than you can through T1, and it just hurts you. As Doppler, oh, we missed it. Doppler gets around Fitzsimmons as we come down the straightaway into T3. I guess technically we're T4.
Yeah, Brenner and Fitzsimmons were battling for the race lead, and Doppler says, hey, you know what? Now's a good opportunity for me to put that number 81 back up front. Brenner's going to try and fire it back at the inside line here. Fitzsimmons looks for an opening, can't quite find it yet. This is exactly what Aguilar was looking for, though. The top three are elbows out here. It's going to be 5 laps left to go. The next time they cross the line is Fitzsimmons. Couldn't tell if he got bumped or rapidly swerved over the side. Aguilar's going to try and link up with his satellite team member, AJ Brenner, running in second. And Doppler, a small little breakaway here coming to the start-finish line. Pulls about a 6/10 gap, and you can tell by the lap times here, the pace really slowed down as these drivers bunched up and really started fighting here.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting here because Fitzsimmons is battling Brenner for second, which is letting Doppler get away.
Yeah, Doppler's got to be extremely happy with that. Looking in the rearview mirror and seeing second place, and right now it's mostly third place back, battling intently. Aguilar and Brenner going side by side for third still. Brenner happy to get a little bit of reprieve. I just saw somebody push a little bit wide.
That was Brenner.
I think that was Brenner.
Yeah, he looked like he was a little late on the brakes and drove it a little too deep. So Ray got around
Brenner's
him.
Gonna get. Yeah, Brenner will get regulated back to 4. So now the top three: Doppler, Fitzsimmons, Aguilar, Brenner, and Peterson. What was that?
I don't know.
That might have been Jason Bigby, I think.
It was.
If not, it may have been.
I want to jump to a replay right now.
Goodness, I almost thought that it was Doppler.
We got another slow car off to the side. There's action all over the place right now. I don't want to jump away from this battle for third, but it looks like it's settling down. I'm going to see what happened there with Jason.
So on board the number 63 machine, a little bit too much curbing.
He just
kind of pulled over.
Must be having technical issues, but that's not a safe place to stop and
slow
down. Oh
my goodness.
I am.
Yeah, so when we were watching that live, I originally thought it was Derek Doppler, the number 81, may have had a huge mistake, and that's what slowed him down, but it was lap traffic, the number 63 of Jason Bagby. And man, that was a precarious position for the leaders to be in. I'm almost wondering if Bagby saw the blue flag and pulled over, but that was not the right place to help make that happen, I don't think.
No, it's not your responsibility. It is your responsibility to get out of the way of the leaders, but you still have to do it in a safe manner. I don't know what the rules state, but they might have to take a look at that from the stewards. And decide, because that was not a safe manner.
Yeah, even if it's a coachable moment maybe for a new driver. We've taught this. You and I have tons of real-world racing experience. We always preach, if you were the driver getting past, just be consistent, hold your line, no sudden changes. The faster drivers will make their way around. So I think that might be a coachable for some of our drivers after a white-knuckle situation. Derek Doppler, though, still out front at number 81, up one spot from where he qualified. He's chased by the British driver, Finley Fitzsimmons, number 16. He's up 2 positions. Aguilar sitting in third, Brenner fourth, Peterson in fifth. And that makes Ray Aguilar, our hard charge, the defending champ, up 15 spots after the qualifying ban here tonight at Red Bull Ring, and having a great showing for it.
Yes. Going to be a major recovery drive from him, and I'm sure he's going to be ecstatic, definitely if he can finish on the pole here tonight, this sprint race.
Yeah, Fitzsimmons is one of those drivers in the past at Red Bull Ring. Things have not always went his way. In fact, I would say more often than not, they went the opposite of his way with the night ending in mangled bodywork and broken dreams for the young British driver. Thankfully, he's up here running well. I thought I was going to say he's running second, but he pulls out alongside Doppler to take a pass for the lead here, trying the long way around, and I think he's going to get it there. Amazing to make the outside line work like that.
Yeah, and that kept me from dropping back as Elliott got around Nick Peterson in the same turn, but I didn't want to pull from the lead here. Oh, as Doppler locked up and off the track.
Oh, no. Doppler was running so extremely well here as he's now fallen back to fourth, maybe dropping back to fifth. So Finley Fitzsimmons now with a comfortable race lead, 1.4 seconds up over Aguilar. Brenner sitting in third, Doppler and Zanave in fifth, and something has happened to Peterson as I see him falling down the standings there, number 24.
Yeah,
so another driver with a big off track.
Yes, and Elliott went off track, and Xavier got by Elliott. So Elliott's down now. Conway's down to sixth with it, and he's into the pits. He must have damage. So a good recovery run by Conte, and he is falling down the order now.
So both Elliott Conte and Nick Peterson come down pit road. Your second place driver, your hard charger, Ray Aguilar, the first driver into the 12, so 1 minute 12.598. And I need to retract that immediately. Not the first driver into the 12s. Peterson and Conte both got down, but Aguilar does set the fastest lap of the race last time by. Now, as Fitzsimmons makes his way around the final couple of corners, we unfurl the white flag. Fitzsimmons looking for some redemption here tonight. He's had great luck, or he's had terrible luck at Red Bull Ring, but very rarely was it anywhere in between. Things are either on the polar opposite for Fitzsimmons. So if he can come out tonight and start the evening with a strong win in the sprint, I think he is going to be absolutely ecstatic here to get things going.
Yes, as he's got one more lap, about 1 minute and 13 seconds. Well, as he matches Ray's lap time, best lap, with a 12.60. And I don't know the rules of how they do that, how they break that up. I know in Formula One, it is the guy who does it first gets the reward.
Now, I'm curious as well. So on my live timing, I show Fitzsimmons ahead by 1,000th of a second, a 0.597. I show Aguilar with a 0.598. So we are splitting hairs here. And these guys are absolutely ripping in the Super Formula machines. Fitzsimmons a 2.3 second gap. Let's call it a 2.4 second gap over Aguilar. He's in a league of his own now. Things have really shaken out in his favor.
Yeah, it's been a crazy race with it's been a race of mistakes tonight is what I have to say. If people would have been, I'm not going to say people. If drivers make a mistake, this track will punish you, and it's all about trying to keep it together. Fitzsimmons minimized his mistakes and will take the sprint race here tonight.
With another fastest lap of the race, blowing away the race record here. He gets down to a 1 minute 12.187. A different level. So Fitzsimmons the top spot, Aguilar in second, and AJ Brenner will round out the top 3.
Yes, as we'll wait for these guys to get out of their cars, and we will have them here for an interview here shortly for you. As I'm going to try to go back and see what happened to Nick and Elliott, as they both had issues. Oh, well, that's a little too early, or too late. Oh, contact. Oh, as that has ended, so we will go to
no
our
replays
results.
during the warm-up, I'm afraid.
Okay. There we go. There's our results for the race.
Absolutely nailed it. So we're going to start things off with Mr. AJ Brenner at home in the 3rd place spot. AJ, Red Bull Ring has always had a lot of carnage in the past, and seems like the tradition continues here tonight.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky off the start to get to P1. I knew I didn't really have any pace, had 0 practice, so I was just kind of wanting to throw hands with everyone around me and see if I could hold them up for a while, and didn't work out, but I ended up getting P3, so it wasn't a bad night.
So, AJ, what did you learn from the sprint race to take into the feature race tonight to try to get P1 now?
I just got to stop locking up on every corner. I mean, I'm just going to kill my tires in the long race, so just hopefully be a little easier on that one and bring those tires up and get into a nice pit window and hope for the best, really.
Well, we appreciate you and good luck tonight and the rest of this race, and hope to see you here and at the end of the feature race.
I hope so too. Appreciate it, guys.
There you go, man. Anybody you want to give a shout out to that helps bring you home at this podium?
I'll just give a shout out to Squid Gang Racing.
Love Squid Gang. AJ, best of luck in the feature. We'll have you back up here soon.
Thanks, guys.
That was AJ Brenner bringing it home. And 3rd up next, we've got time. Ray Aguilar bringing it home in 2nd to number 1, a clean sprint race. And Ray, I believe it was you telling me that you expected the sprint to go terribly wrong here tonight, but here you are.
I did. I did not think I would be here, but you just got to remember, you make 100% of the shots you don't miss. So that's what we did tonight.
Yes, sorry, Ray, with that...
You out fishing, Norman? You got a good connection? You fishing tonight?
So, as you drove through the field tonight, or this afternoon here in Austria, how are you going to take what you learned into the next race with not having as many cars to go through?
Well, what I learned is Finley's got some pace, so I'm going to have to stay in that tow. And AJ is good at braking about 3 car lengths past where everybody else does. So, I don't know. I think the survival thing here is huge. You see, we already had 1 caution. The odds are we have another one in the main race. So I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little worried about making it through turn 1. And, we had a week off, so I'm a little worried about this start procedure. We didn't practice as much as we should.
Well, I appreciate it, and I thank you for your time, and good luck in the feature race.
I love you too, Norman.
That was Ray Aguilar bringing it home in 2nd. But up next, we got the man, the local European legend. Welcome back, Finley Fitzsimmons, seizing the top spot here at the sprint.
Yeah, feels good to be back. That week off felt really long, but yeah, overall the race was a really, really fun one. Three-way battle for the lead is always fun. Up the top end, it's nice to have a lot of people within the sort of same few tenths of each other, because it makes the race very interesting, and I definitely had to earn that one today.
Fitzsimmons, I just got a question for you. What's it gonna take to win the feature race here tonight as you start on pole?
Definitely not mess up the start, which I nearly did. In the race, I actually stalled the engine. I was scrambling to get it restarted again before the lights went out. So let's not do that. And yeah, it's going to be chaos again. But obviously, if you're at the front, you can maybe try and break away from the pack if you get a good start. So it's all about then just managing your tyres, making sure you don't overheat the rears, especially at this track, because if you start to let them go, they go heavy. So make sure you just look after the rear tyres and don't pit too early or too late.
Well, we thank you. Is there anyone you would like to thank here tonight as you get ready for the feature race?
Thank you to everyone that was racing, obviously, in the top 3, being Ray, AJ, and also Derek as well, for a great fight. Thanks to you guys in the booth, Antonio, and the stewards.
All right. Well, good luck in the feature race, and we hope to see you here at the end of the feature race on the podium.
Thank you, Norman. See you.
That was Finley Fitzsimmons bringing it home in the top spot of the sprint. Don't go anywhere. We're going to mute some audio up here in the booth, and we'll be right back for today's feature event. Hopefully we're unmuted this time, but welcome back, race fans, to the League Zero Inca Salsa Super Formula Series. It's time for the main event. Looks like 22 drivers still registered. Going to be interested to see if all 22 get out on track. And Norman, what's the expectations here tonight?
I think the expectation is to make it through turn 1 and turn 3 cleanly and see if we can get away without having a caution.
So drivers getting gridded up as we pull up the live timing tower, the left side of your screen. We're going to have Norman smash that race button. We're going to have him click the sponsorship logos, and we're going to be out on track. 32 laps on the board for these drivers. Bentley Fitzsimmons going to be starting in the number 1 spot. Ray Aguilar starting second. AJ Brenner, Derek Doppler, Xavier Zanave will round out the top 5 here. Norman, I am expecting another full course caution here tonight.
Well, I'm hoping not. I'm hoping we can get away cleanly here, as we're going to try a new camera angle from the chopper, except it is not moving.
Well, that's because the cars aren't moving, but good to have that MSR Performance chopper cam pulled up here behind the drivers. The lights go off, and we are underway. It looks like Felipe Ramos, number 73, going to be the only driver not join us, but somebody has botched the start here. And Carl Hartwell, a great start at the 79 as we are barreling in 3 wide into turn 1.
Yes, as they all get away cleanly, though. As we run up the hill, we're going to jump up to the leaders, as it looks like Doppler's going to try to make a run on AJ, and Ray locks up.
Very uncharacteristic there for the number 1. Now, I'm not quite sure what's going on, as I see all sorts of drivers dropping like rocks down the leaderboard there. So there must have been an incident somewhere as Brenner and Doppler continue going side by side.
It looks like Jason had an incident as we jump back. Well, he's by himself. And that's before they all dropped back, so I'm not sure what was going on.
Yeah, I see Kati, Meyer, Iesi, Zanave, Hartwell, Balcells, Mayorga, Fairchild, all tied up in some sort of incident. So already the back half of the field's really going to get shaken up here. It's still Fitzsimmons, Aguilar, Brenner, your top 3. And it looks like Derek Doppler, and look at that, Shazi Zuhair having a good run there in the number 10 machine. He's worked his way up into the top 5 and staying latched on to Derek Doppler. I think if he can stay linked up with Doppler, those two can really make some ground up as they continue charging forward and trying to use that draft. But AJ Brenner must have had some sort of issue. He's going to fall back to 5th. Doppler now up to 3rd.
Yeah, it looks like he went wide out of T1 as he battles Zuhair down as they come down the hill.
So going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out. Now, we talked about in the past snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Is who is that just snapped loose? I think that might have been Derek Doppler. He was able to hold on to it. Brenner and Zuhair are going to try to use that to gain some more momentum here, but Fitzsimmons has gained a 1.6 second advantage out in front. In the past, this is where I would tend to worry a little bit. Fitzsimmons has a comfortable lead. The tires are starting to come in, and he is checking out. We've got Ryan Tebow join us in the spectator area. Always good to have one of my favorite Canadians tune in, supporting the show. And Fitzsimmons, as he crosses the line, a 2-second advantage early on in the feature. Gets quickly down to the 113s. Now, a reminder to the fans, there is a mandatory tire stop here at League Zero in the feature event. So you cannot take tires in the opening lap. You cannot take tires on the final lap. And I'm very interested to see what the strategy is going to be amongst these drivers tonight.
Yes, we've noticed that the undercut can be very powerful. And I think at a track like this, it will be powerful as long as you can undercut someone by more than a lap. It looks like Doppler was off track right there, as that's got to open the door for Brenner and Ray.
No, was that? Who was that? That was Zuhair.
Yes.
Oh, and it's the crash that keeps on happening. Zuhair falls all the way back to 13th here. Doppler was all out of shape. I think Zuhair was trying to take evasive maneuvers, really upset the car, and it seems like the track might be very damp as he's kicking up mud everywhere.
Yes, which he's just
Oh,
crabbing.
look at that car. Yeah,
He's
that
got
thing's
major
in big
issues.
trouble.
So that's
What
gonna
a beautiful shot, though.
Unfortunate for him, he'll have to bring that car to pit lane.
Zuhair.
I am sorry.
No. We were all rooting. He was so incredibly close to the pit road entry, and that car was just fighting him every step of the way. So, unfortunately for Zuhair, I think that was frustration more than anything, resulting in the tow.
Yeah,
But man, that's gut-wrenching for the number 10.
Yeah, I would have tried to get it on the pit lane since I was there and just seen what the damage was, but that's going to be an end to his night as we have a if you tow policy, you are done for the evening in that race.
Yeah, that's gut-wrenching. I mean, I think the chances were slim of him getting that car repaired if he did make it on pit road, but quite a bummer to see him kind of robbed of that opportunity. Now, I'm curious as well, what happened to Antonio Bianchi? I thought he was way up the standings earlier on, but I show Bianchi's number 17 down pit road as well.
Yeah, we'll try to see what happened here. He went off track. We go on board with him here. He just pulled off and towed. See if I can find some more information. We're going to jump back to the leaders for now while I look for that. And I'll let you know if I find it. I'm not seeing anything in the log that shows me that he had an issue. Are you still with me? I guess we're on our own here, ladies and gentlemen. I will try to do my best and apologize in advance for any issues as we're going to jump to Doppler here as he's within half a second of Brenner trying to pull back. And we're going to check with James to see what has happened. I am not getting any.
The overlay
for a second.
No, I was out on the infield care center talking to Antonio Bianchi about what was going on. Now, I do see the replay still up instead of live, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there before we hit the magic red button. But I had the opportunity to go down to the infield care center, talk to Antonio Bianchi. Unfortunately, he was collected in that incident with Shazi Zuhair, where we saw Zuhair kind of bouncing around the track. And unfortunately for Bianchi, he was involved in that incident. That resulted in the tow back to pit road.
Oh, that is a tough night for him as he had done so well to get past his qualifying ban in the sprint race and to earn positions back. But it'll be a quick evening for him in the feature race here tonight.
Yeah, he'll be on the outside watching in. Now, the top three still Fitzsimmons, Aguilar, Brenner. Doppler and Kotze having a good run. They're running 4th and 5th as it looks like Doppler's starting to reel in Brenner. Now, Doppler, he's a relative newcomer here on League Zero. I think he has the pace. He just needs to kind of get those laps dialed in a little bit more. And I think he's going to be a really big contender. We've seen a few big close calls from that 81 over the course of tonight, but I mean, he's staying right there with the top 3 drivers. So I think once Doppler is able to really string things together, he's definitely going to be a frequent podium contender here at League Zero.
Yes, as they were both heavily on the push to pass as they go through this sector. As we'll see, you know, you're using it to defend in Brenner's point, and Doppler's trying to catch. It's going to take one of these guys, I guess, are driving pretty even to hold speed without using the push to pass to try to break away or to perform this overtake.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially when these drivers are so equally matched on pace inside the top 5. You can see Brenner being a little bit defensive there at the start-finish line, making sure not to give Doppler any bit of the draft here, but I don't think that's going to shake off the number 81 machine of Derek Doppler. I think he's staying right there in pace with Brenner, and maybe after those big close calls, he's not in as much of an urgent situation to really hammer down. Maybe those little incidents kind of put a little bit of respect back into the car and realize, you know what, let's not push too hard. Let's maybe focus on a great result here, some good points, rather than risking it all for a top 3.
Yeah, well, I was going to say as we had a battle back here, but it looks like it shaped out as Matthew is going to try to get around Hartwell.
Yeah, that's going to be Ballcells and Carl Hartwell battling for the 9th place spot. Hartwell, number 79, Ballcells, the 52. A fair distance back from them is going to be Arturo Mayorga, the AI genius, pilot number 55. And I think right now, maybe some of these drivers, that was close there. I think that was Fairchild and Mayorga almost touched wheels.
Yes, as Fairchild will make the pass here.
So that's Michael Fairchild, the number 88 machine, has pulled about a half second over Mayorga and the number 55. Now, Norman, to me, it looks like the pace is getting faster, quicker than what we saw in the sprint. I'm seeing a lot more drivers in the low 113s or the high 1 minute 12s already here tonight. And that is not even with the fuel loads really having much opportunity to decrease. We're still about 7 laps out from the halfway mark. Historically, it seems to be about that 3/4 mark of the race where we really see some blazing fast lap times from these drivers. So I'm curious to see. We've already got guys in the mid 1 minute 12s. Do you think we might see some high 111s by the time this is all said and done?
It's going to be risky, but I think they can get them definitely after the tires, definitely after the halfway point. Once guys start getting on fresh tires, low fuel, and they start to really push these cars to the limit with the low fuel and good rubber on their tires once they get warm.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this is going to be. The top 4 getting a little bit more spread out here. Single file, everybody's got about a second and a half between them. 2 of the closest drivers I see out on track, Elliott Cotti, I think it's going to be Derek Doppler, battling for 4th. They're separated by about a half second. I saw that as low as 2/10 at one point, so Doppler doing a great job defending from some historic race winners here at League Zero. So Doppler on the defensive right now, but he's had good opportunity to follow really fast guys. You know, the Fitzsimmons, the Aguilars, the Brenners, and kind of pick up some notes from those guys. See what reference points they're using, when to tip the car in, when to get on the brakes, and maybe when to accelerate. Because historically, these super formulas, fairly easy to put the power down prematurely, especially when you're in the push to pass. So there's a lot of opportunities to learn all across the course here at the Red Bull Ring. And Doppler, I'm very impressed with number 81 and what we're seeing.
Yes, I am too, but something that I've noticed, and I've seen this out of Doppler and a few other drivers here tonight, they're on the push to pass, entering a turn, like off of it, and then right before they enter, they hit it, which is really different than what I would expect. You think you'd want to be off that extra power boost as you enter the turn.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I would expect them, kind of at the back half of the apex at the earliest to get on the push to pass, trying to minimize the bleed off time. You only get 200 seconds of push to pass per race, be it the sprint, be it the feature. So part of the racecraft is conserving that push to pass to kind of maximize its usage. I'm not sure if corner entry is the prime opportunity, I think, to be on that magic button.
Yeah, I'm seeing definitely Doppler and Conte use a lot of push to pass here in the last few laps. I'm seeing their halo light up green, which, if I'm not mistaken, that is when they're on the push to pass.
It'll be a blinking green. when they're on the push to pass, a solid green means it's available. If
Okay.
you see a blinking yellow, no, excuse me. No, I think I'm fairly confident. I don't know anything about anything. Now I'm doubting myself.
Oh, this has been great. I can see the numbers lighting up on my timing table, but I don't know if that means they're on it or what, because there's so many different numbers showing up.
So what I see right now is Elliot Cotti is on the button, the number 23 machine.
Okay.
So I'm fairly confident saying if it's flashing,
Oh,
it's activated.
as
And,
we
oh
just
no, that
saw
was a
that
pass.
live.
That was never going to happen.
yeah, I don't know who that's gonna be on, because I couldn't tell if Elliot was half a car length on him or not.
Now, the good news is, as we try and get a replay queued up, Derek Doppler does not look too damaged, the number 81 machine. He's still continuing at pace. We will know shortly if he comes down pit road, if he has any sort of big problems. Elliot Cotti's going to come down pit road. Derek Doppler also down pit road. So I think Doppler is going to use this opportunity and kind of get the car checked out as we're on board here with Derek Doppler. And you're going to see...
So you couldn't see Elliot in that screen. But let's take on board with Elliot to see if he's there, and then he's not there.
Yeah, that might just be declared a racing incident, I think. Two drivers trying to occupy the same position, I wonder.
Yeah, as we're gonna jump up, not the right driver to be on. This is what I was looking for.
So that's Balcells and Hartwell continuing the battle. Now up for 6 is Derek Doppler and Elliot Cotti. Going to have extended stays on pit road, it looks like. So we still have great racing all across the track. Now Doppler is going to return back on circuit after 32 seconds in his pit stall. Elliot Cotti is in his stall for 51.8 seconds. I'm not sure if that is a damage requirement or maybe some sort of penalty served for the 23, but Elliot's definitely had a roller coaster. He's been up towards the front, he's been up towards the back, had to work his way back to the field, but just about to the halfway mark in today's feature event. I'm not sure if he's going to have time to recover from this one.
Yeah, he's pretty far back, definitely with this being such a short lap that he's, let's see here, he is, yeah, he looks like he could be close to being a lap down. He looks like he's just under half a lap down, so it's going to be tough for him to get back with that long stay on pit road.
Yeah, I think now it's just going to be about minimizing points for the team. His teammate Fitzsimmons still in that number 1 spot, 2 seconds up for the rest of the field. Fitzsimmons still setting down fastest laps of the race. As right now we're focusing on the flying Frenchman, Xavier Zanave. As I'm trying to think, is that Balcells that he's trying to catch up to?
It is.
So Balcells having a good run at number 52. He's up 3 spots. Hartwell lagging just behind in 8th. He's up 6 positions. Hard charger of the night, though, the absolute stud, the Brazilian man, Felipe Sarkis. He is up 16 spots up into 5th. Felipe having an absolute fantastic run here at the Red Bull Ring. Now, in practice, we noticed Sarkis was one of the top 5 drivers as far as pace goes. So it seems like it's taken him a little bit longer to kind of get that momentum built up. But now that we're just shy of the halfway mark, Sarkis really stretching his legs in that number 4.
Yes, as he's not showing the pace here in the race that he had in practice. But that being said, it is, like you said, we're just coming to halfway. There is still time for him to show a little bit more pace. It's going to be tough to run down the top 4 as he is 13.5 seconds behind them.
Yeah, I think this is a situation Sarkis knows. He's got clean track ahead and behind him here. I'm showing he's about 10 seconds back from Leo Delmas, about 3.8 up over Xavier Zanave. I think now is he's kind of in no man's land. Just kind of focusing on hitting your marks, minimizing any mistakes, because we've both seen it plenty of times here in the past at League Zero. It's not over until it's over. There's still a very high chance somebody ahead of you will have issues by the time it's all said and done. And right now, Norman, drivers being displayed the cross green and white flags, signaling the halfway mark of today's feature event. It looks like a large portion of the field, I'm showing about everybody in the top 10 has yet to box here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if all these drivers are going to go long with these lap times being pretty quick, as you start to see it looks like they're starting to fall off a little bit, as we're looking at about a tenth of a second, except Ray produces his fastest lap of the race this past lap.
The future as well, when rain will become an option for these super formula drivers, adding it, or even multi-tire compounds would be really fantastic for the racing here today, adding a little bit more into the mix. Now, right now, drivers do have that mandatory tire stop, but there is no additional compounds behind the wall. It is just the same style of tire that they have to swap out here. Aguilar clicks off his fastest lap, the fastest lap of the race. But to circle back to my point, I'm excited for more opportunities for these drivers to show their off-track racing prowess, as well as the on-track that we've become so familiar with here at League Zero.
Yeah, I would love to see tire compounds put in by iRacing for these leagues, because it would add such more strategy to the race to start on a hard, medium, or soft, even if it's just a harder or soft tire.
Yeah, making it a little bit, adding a little bit more in the mix. We've seen fuel mileage races here at League Zero. We've seen surprise night races here at League Zero. But it would be nice to have the tires kind of adding a little bit extra for these drivers. Tires, rain, I'll take anything we can get at this point, because a reminder to the fans, you cannot refuel these Super Formula machines during a race. There is no option for it. The fuel that you start with, that is all you get for it. Fitzsimmons answers with the fastest lap of the race, so he's feeling comfortable. And Norman, we're down to the minute 12.5 lap times.
Yeah,
I don't know. Can these guys get another half second?
It's going to be tight, but I think it's doable. Oh, Ray looks like he got a little loose going into T3.
Yeah, that is a corner that has historically caused drivers here at the Red Bull Ring many issues in the past. Now, I will say as well, it looks like this feature event maybe a little bit cleaner than I was expecting. The past Red Bull Ring has historically been a bit of a rough one for some of these drivers. So good to see so many guys out on track and able to keep navigating the track. As it looks to me, currently we've whittled it down to only 15 drivers out on track. Bryce Dawson's down pit road, the number 89 machine. So that's going to leave Jace Meyer in the top 15, still running strong, a lap down. But we've lost 6 or 7 drivers at this point in the feature event. So we've had our fair share of incidents, but maybe it wasn't as combustible as it was in the past.
Yeah. My question to you, James, is I didn't really follow last season. Did they come to Red Bull Ring last year?
I can't remember. I want to say it was Red Bull Ring, and I want to say it was one of the worst Super Formula races we had. I'm not sure if it was this past season or the season before. I'll have to look at the results here on another screen, but I'm confident saying the first season we had the Super Formulas, we did have Red Bull Ring. We still had the reverse grid as well between the feature and the sprint, and it was not a recipe for success the first time we put these drivers out here.
Yeah, I remember the Formula 3 series here with the reverse grid and all that, and it did not help. As it looks like we had another car pull off, and I don't know if they towed or not. Looks like that's going to be Meyer with a crash, and no, he did come back on track, so I think he is still driving, if I can tell right by what I'm reading.
So last season we were here at Red Bull Ring. That was January 25th. That was when the highlight win of Nick Beaver was shared by iRacing. Unfortunately, the stat sheet that we get here for road course racing doesn't give us a caution counter like we do on the oval side of broadcast. So I don't know how many cautions we had last season. It was September 21st, 2023, I believe, the first time we sent these Super Formula drivers out to the Red Bull Ring. And I'm fairly confident saying that was not a lot of fun for everybody.
As it looks like we're starting to have the top drivers come into pit road, as you had Sarkis and Brenner come down pit road here as we enter with about 12 laps to go. This is going to be interesting to see if they bring the rest of the lead pack down pit road this lap.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. Aguilar just set the fastest lap of the race his last time by a 1 minute 12.348, a full 0.2 faster than what Fitzsimmons has been able to do here tonight. So the pace started to really wick up. We talked about it very on the broadcast. The fuel loads start to decrease. The cars get a lot lighter. And I think Aguilar, again, the fastest lap, a 1 minute 12.265. Aguilar is feeling great here at this point. Those are some extremely quick lap times.
Yes, he's closing the gap. But we had Sarkis on pit road for 43.5 seconds with an 11.5 second pit stop. He must have had issues or damage he had to repair.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sarkis, that's not going to be what he was looking for here. Now I'm seeing some green sectors from both Fitzsimmons and Aguilar. Fitzsimmons running really good, not quite 0.2 faster than Fitzsimmons in Sector 2 here. Sector 1 looks like Fitzsimmons still has it, but I think we might see a 1 minute 11 by the time this is all said and done. Now,
Yes.
to kind of give myself some breathing room here, I think that's going to really depend on when Fitzsimmons and Aguilar opt to come down pit road. I think right now, Norman, they're on a strategy where they want to minimize the time they spent on those required tires. So they're going to run it out very, very late here, as long as the lap times don't drop off and get slower. That way they only have to do 1 or 2 laps on the fresh tires and minimize the time they have to spend on them.
Yes, as my thought process, and I don't know these cars too well, I haven't driven them, would be to come down pit road now and get on fresh rubber so you can use that rubber to your advantage with a lighter fuel load.
It's a little column A, a little column B on this one. So unlike the oval side of racing, it can almost take a lap or 2 laps for these tires to really come up to temp. I mean, right now we see it 22 laps in. The tire fall off has not outpaced the fuel load decreasing. So what may happen if they come down pit road on the halfway mark, it's a give and a take between fuel load and getting the tires up to temp. As I say that, Aguilar's going to come down pit road, though, but Simmons stays out. So here we go. Some of the final drivers going to come down pit road, and it looks like it's just Fitzsimmons, Xavier Zanave, and Carl Hartwell, the only drivers who have yet to box. Hartwell having a great run. He's up into 5th here.
Yes, but he still has to come down pit road, which, looking at times, he would drop pretty far down the order.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he'll stay on the lead lap, but that might have put him closer to 7th or 8th by the time the pit cycle is finished. Now, I'm curious to see what Aguilar is going to do. Fitzsimmons stays out front in the number 16 machine, waiting for him to box. He's got about a 25-second advantage over Mr. Ray Aguilar in second. Right now, though, Norman, I mean, this is identical standings to what we saw in the sprint. 1, 2, 3, Fitzsimmons, Aguilar, and Brenner. I wonder if we're going to see an upset. We've got about 9 laps left to go, but these guys are pretty spread out. I guess one of the last deciding factors is Fitzsimmons. A 1 minute 12.085 out of that number 16 machine. Goodness, that kid is going fast.
Yes, and we have to remember this pit lane is going to be like Silverstone that got us for a pit lane time. I think coming down pit lane, you gain time So right now, Ray is 26 seconds behind Fitzsimmons. I don't think that's enough time. He needs to get that down to about 20 seconds to make the undercut work.
I agree, especially with how fast Fitzsimmons is ripping around here. And, well, that was interesting. Aguilar triggered the pit lane exit lights very briefly on my my broadcast software, so might have taken an alternative line heading into turn 1.
Yeah, I saw that too. I'm not sure what that was as we were watching Fitzsimmons as he still stays out. Let's see what he does this time by. Here it is, a 1:11.97, but the lap's not going to count.
So he must have had an off track. So Fitzsimmons knows he can do it, just has to do it a little bit cleaner. And I think that's going to be Derek Doppler, the number 81 machine. He's had a bit of a rough night here, but still running well. So now Doppler's going to try and stay on the lead lap. He knows Fitzsimmons looming behind. Doppler will be displayed the blue flag. So he will quickly hop out of the way of the race leader here to avoid interfering with any sort of shenanigans up front.
Yeah, now if I'm not mistaken, this series has the blue flag rule, meaning that if you get a blue flag, you need to you don't have to get out of the way, but you have to at least let the leader by.
Exactly. Yield the track position as quickly as you can. Norman, I really want to see Fitzsimmons get down to a clean 1 minute 11 here. He obviously can do it. He was just about 2/10 faster, but he's not going to do it this time.
As now the battle comes as we jump to Ray to see if Ray can close this gap within 1 second, as he was, I think, 1.5 to 2 seconds behind Fitzsimmons before he pitted.
I think it's extremely entertaining. Fitzsimmons crosses the line on pit road, does a 1 minute 15. That's still faster than some of the drivers are doing out on track with the pit stop included. So that's pretty spectacular. There goes Ray Aguilar. Fitzsimmons is showing
close.
Oh, it's going to be about within a second. Yeah, right at a second here. Norman, we might have a battle here.
Yes, Fitzsimmons was on pit lane for almost 39 seconds. Ray only 35.1 seconds. We've got a battle. Ray's on warm tires. Fitzsimmons is on cold tires. This is going to be a battle this lap for the lead.
Yeah, in his pit stall, Fitzsimmons was about 1.2 seconds slower than the defending champ, Ray Aguilar. Now we're going to find out who's got the push to pass left here. Can Aguilar keep Fitzsimmons in check here? Can he pick up the draft from the number 16 machine? If he can, I think there's a good chance Aguilar still has a shot at it. But if Fitzsimmons can break away and get back to hot lapping, he's going to be tough to touch.
Yes, Ray has to attack here on coming to this next lap to have a shot, because then Fitzsimmons will get warm tires and the race will be on for Fitzsimmons. But if Ray can get him here on this lap, I think he can make it an easy overtake.
Yeah, has to keep Fitzsimmons within striking distance. Fitzsimmons' tires should be up to temp, if not very close to it. But Aguilar closing quickly here within a half second, charging behind that number 16 machine. Oh, here we go, Norman. We are going to have a battle for the lead after all.
Yes, this is what we were all hoping for. Oh, Fitzsimmons spun the tires coming out of T3.
So Aguilar is going to try and pounce against the British driver right in the draft. I think Aguilar set himself up for a very good spot. And it's going to be 4 laps left to go next time they cross the start-finish line. Aguilar doesn't necessarily need to make a pass right now. Just needs to stay tucked in behind Fitzsimmons, maybe try and force a mistake. And if all else fails, he set himself up for a good opportunity on the final lap to kind of take his shot. Norman, you've got a ton of racing experience. What would you do in this situation? Are you going to follow Fitzsimmons if you're behind the wheel of the number 1? Or are you going to try and make a pass quickly and shake him off?
Now that we get here, I'm thinking Fitzsimmons in front of me has warm tires. He's good to go. I'm going to try to push him into a mistake and use the Dale Earnhardt intimidation factor.
Bit of an interesting crossover onto the open wheel Super Formula Series, but I'm 100% here for it. as Aguilar is staying right there with them. Both drivers were on the push to pass, currently recharging here. The slow blink means that they are currently recharging the push to pass. The solid green on the halo signals that they are ready to hit the magic button. And if you see those halos brightly flashing green, that means the push to pass is currently activated for those drivers. You've seen lap traffic hopping out of the way for the race leaders, knowing that there's a battle for the win going on here tonight. When we can get some clean racing, we can usually get some white knuckle action here at Red Bull Ring. Fitzsimmons doing everything he can to shake off Aguilar, and Aguilar's not going to let him have it easy here.
Yes, just to give everyone an update through the field, everyone has stopped for pits except number 4, Xavier. He has still not come down pit road. This is our closest battle on track. It is for the lead. Our next closest battle would be Fairchild and Doppler, which is with just over 3/4 of a second.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. There's lap traffic up on the horizon. There's Aguilar. 1 minute 12.071. We still have not seen anybody get down to a clean 1 minute 11 as the field checked up. Lap traffic is going to be a factor here. Thankfully, everybody gets through that one, but that is not what Fitzsimmons wanted because Aguilar is breathing down his neck here. And here we go, Norman, side by side.
As Ray tries to go the long way around the turn and not able to hold it, but I thought he was going to dip back out and try it through what I would call a carousel.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Fitzsimmons immediately fires back against Aguilar, not wanting to get that number 1 out ahead of him and slow the pace down. Aguilar, I think, has forced Fitzsimmons into an attack situation here. Your top 3 still unchanged from the sprint. It's Fitzsimmons, Aguilar, and Brenner, but you can see lap traffic now definitely knows that the leader's coming up. Fitzsimmons swerving across track, trying to pick up a draft from lap traffic, and I don't know if that's going to play to his hand here or maybe slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, I would not advise of dipping off down the straightaway right before you come to the braking zone. But these guys are a lot better than I am. That could normally cause issues. As Ray's able to close up again through T3 as they come down into, I want to say, if I remember this track right, this is going to be T5 or 6. I don't know if it's an iRacing thing, but it looks like Ray's locking up through that turn a lot, or I'm just getting a glitch where it looks like his front tires are not spinning.
It could be a little bit of both. You heard some of the drivers in the sprint interview saying the micro lockup's definitely a problem, and in a race where tire management has historically been very important, every little lockup degrades those tires just a little bit extra. Elliott Cotti, though, a 112.018, so another fastest lap of the race by a British driver. Still not seeing that clean 1 minute 11 that I've been looking for. And oh my goodness, look how close Aguilar just was.
Yes, but that lap did not count either. That is a
you're right.
lap.
So Aguilar a dirty, a 1 minute 12.001.
Fitzsimmons a little bit deep through the turn as Aguilar gets the run down the straightaway. I don't know what the red blinking means down on their halos.
That means he is out of the magic button. He's got no more left, and Fitzsimmons is going to try and capitalize that, pulling up alongside Aguilar. Aguilar is going to fight right back into the inside line. Side by side we go. Oh, this is a precarious position for the race leaders to be in.
This is very interesting. I think Aguilar could have taken a little bit more space through what I'm calling the carousel. But because he didn't, he's going to end up yielding back to Fitzsimmons for giving Fitzsimmons the lead as we come to the white flag this time by.
Here we go. This is where it's all going to shake out. Tip in the hat. Elliott Cotti running 8th, number 23. A clean 1 minute 11.808. So he's going to get the bragging rights here. The first driver into a 1 minute 11 second lap time here at the Red Bull Ring. As right now all eyes are on Finley Fitzsimmons and Ray Aguilar.
No! Ray
Oh,
just
Aguilar
touched
has
him.
thrown it away.
Oh!
Oh. That's going to be a penalization, I think. No, what happened to
Wait a minute.
Fitzsimmons?
Fitzsimmons spun too.
I don't know what's happening here.
I don't want to step away as we have Fitzsimmons battling back. Ray's got issues. He can't turn. Fitzsimmons back to the
Aguilar's
lead.
off track. What on earth is happening? Aguilar's going to tow. He's done. He's out. He's finished. AJ Brenner moves up. Leo Delmas somehow showing third here. I'm at a bit of a loss for words here, Norman.
I was trying to stay with live action. I didn't want to go to a replay. As Fitzsimmons coming to the line, he's going to win this. It looks like it's going to be Brenner in third. Or second,
No, second.
second. I'm all flabbergasted right now.
Yeah, so right now it shows Fitzsimmons, Brenner, and Leo Delmas should be able to grab the third place spot here. So here's what I'm looking for. I want a replay of, I think that was the uphill right-hander where Aguilar threw it away. But I want to see what happened to Fitzsimmons. We knew what happened to Aguilar. It was a solo incident with a questionable rejoin. But what happened to Fitzsimmons there? Was he involved in an incident that may have the stewards review? Let's see if we can change that camera angle to TV1, maybe TV2.
Okay, that is the lap before. I keep hitting the wrong one.
Enhance.
This should be it. It looks like Ray just got under him and spun. I don't know what happened.
So pause it, and change to Fitzsimmons and back this up.
I don't know how to pause.
There's a stop button, I think, on the right side. So switch to Fitzsimmons. Now hit the reverse button, search it, rework it, bend it down backwards, and yeah, you know the rest. So anyway, we're focusing on Fitzsimmons here.
Yes.
I think the car just got a little bit unsettled from Aguilar.
I think Ray did touch him, and that's what spun Ray, but it also unsettled Fitzsimmons on exit, and he just wasn't able to get it back going. But with Ray's being in the middle of the track and getting hit, he had suspension damage, causing him not to make it through the next turn. And you just see him go wide, and
what?
It's going to be interesting on the podium as we go to these interviews.
So here's what I want you to do here, Norman. I want you on the replay settings. There's an option to change that to quarter speed, 1/4. We're going to make sure that replay camera is set up for TV1. And we are going to focus in on the drivers once they get to the booth. We're going to move the camera over to Leo Delmas and the number 21 machine. And then we're going to hit slow-mo. And now we're rocking. So we're going to start things off with Mr. Leo Delmas, the smooth-talking number 21. Leo, welcome to the podium.
Hello, James.
Leo, walk us through that night. It was a roller coaster. You're out of the running. You were 12 places back from where you started. Next thing you know, up 12 spots in the top 3 and a clean race car.
Yeah. Unfortunately for the sprint, I had a little mistake with chassis. I'm very sorry for that, but I had to catch up with the race, and most of the part I was just clipping laps and laps and laps, trying to be consistent and having the best strategy at the end, pitting later on than expected.
Yes, noticed that you had one of the fastest times on pit road tonight, and you were just talking about that. How much did that help you tonight?
Apparently helped a bit, if you want to know. I practice every time I'm into a race weekend. I practice my pit entry to maximize the time in here and pulling the best out of it.
Well, it looks like it paid off.
Well, Leo.
Go ahead, James.
Go ahead. Okay, if you insist. Leo, it's always a pleasure talking to you, buddy. Great to have you up here in the top 3. And
Thank
now,
you.
my friend, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make it happen?
I'll give you a shot to my friend Case Meyer in the track, my teammate Zadis Nave from Rodin Racing. Good race from him, good sprint too. Very pleasing to see him up here.
Well, Leo, merci beaucoup. Always a great time having you up here, bud. Hopefully, we'll have you up here more throughout the season.
Thank you, James.
That was Leo Dalmas bringing it home in the 3rd place position. Up got Mr. Kota himself, AJ Brenner, able to sneak into a 2nd and almost saw the whole field open up in front of you there.
You know, I didn't realize how close it was, and I just watched the replay, and man, that was almost a P1. Almost had it there.
That's so close.
If only we were at Coda, right?
Exactly.
So, Brenner, I just got a question. Playing a patience game tonight in the feature race, how much did that pay off for you?
You know, honestly, it was pretty boring. I locked up maybe about 15 times in the first 5 laps, and I kind of screwed my race, and I was about 6 seconds back from Finley and Ray at the start, and so I kind of just sat there, put some music on, and enjoyed the beautiful Austrian track.
Well,
AJ, what music did you choose for this one?
A little Mac Miller, just kind of sitting back enjoying it.
Excellent choice. But AJ, always cool having you up here in the top 3. We're going to get Norman to change those results on the board to the feature results. But a great job, 2nd. Back-to-back podiums here tonight. Before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen for you?
I'll just give a shout out to Squid Gang Racing and Felipe Sarkis.
A bunch of great guys all the way around. AJ, always a pleasure, bud. Hopefully we'll have you up here next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
You too. That was AJ Brenner bringing it home in 2nd, but oh boy, is he going to have some words to say. Welcome back, Finley Fitzsimmons. Finley, so often in the past, either a sprint or a feature, especially at Red Bull Ring, we've seen you have a solo car incident that kind of robbed your chances. How terrifying was it to almost have that pulled away from you from an incident that was no fault of your own?
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't actually the hit that got me. To be fair, we both. I'm going to be brutally honest. We both spun it on our own. I was too busy looking at him in my rearview mirror, and I spun myself in doing so. So I was very lucky to get away with it, to be honest. But we'll take it. A win's a win.
Fitzsimmons, you were a little slow on pit lane compared to Ray. How much did that cost you tonight to have him pull back into the battle?
Yeah, it wasn't mistake free. Everything pit entry into the box, perfect. Except I didn't get the bite point on the clutch right, so I ended up stalling it twice coming out of the pit stall. If I wouldn't have done that, I probably would have come out with the overcut, probably about 3 or 4 seconds ahead. At least I knew the overcut was the strategy because the tyres took so long to warm up. They just get better and better and better, and they barely wear at this track. So as long as you keep them within a certain temperature window, they're okay. But I think it definitely cost me in the fact that he was able to get into my draft, into the slipstream, and then within touching a battle distance, because then I had to look at my rearview mirror for the last sort of 5 or so laps of the race, which definitely added a bit of extra stress, but I think we handled it quite well if we just ignore what happened on the last lap.
Oh, fair enough. And then we'll casually look past that together. Finley, we've been watching you race a very long time. We've seen you have terrible luck at Red Bull Ring. We were all rooting for you and glad to kind of shake that off your back at this one. And tonight, my friend, you got the privilege, the pleasure, back-to-back wins. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it happen?
Thank you. Obviously, you two in the booth straight away. Stewards, Antonio, Ray, for giving me an interesting race to the end. And had some news again that another family member has passed away. Not as close, thankfully, as my granddad that passed away a few weeks ago. So it's not too much of a family tragedy, but she'll definitely be missed. And I can happily say that I can dedicate these 2 to her. And I hope she sleeps well.
Finley, always well said. You've grown a lot as a racer and a person off the track. Always a pleasure, buddy, and hopefully we'll have you back up here next week.
Thank you, James. Yeah, see you both. Bye-bye.
Norman, that was Finley Fitzsimmons making it back-to-back here at Red Bull Ring. AJ Brenner back-to-back podiums, and Leo Delmas grabbing a sweet third here tonight.
Yes, it looks like we're going to have a huge championship battle for the team championship and the drivers' championship as we've passed the halfway point of this season.
Now, also tip of the hat, that is Leo Delmas' first podium of the season, so I want to make sure I sneak that one in there. That's a very well-deserved achievement for the French driver. But Norman, it was a pleasure having you up here in the booth. It was a great race to call, great friends on and off the track. Thank you so much to the family, friends, and fans joining and supporting the League Zero Inca Salsa Super Formula Series. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, I've been joined by Norman King, MSR Performance Racing. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night.